when using CX and QuickBooks. So templates are not something that are available through the API, what you can read. So it is something that we do have to go through, one of the few things that you do have to set up when you are first using CX. Now, the expectation is most people already would have a template that exists that they like to use, but if you do not, you would come into the templates list, right? And let's say we have an invoice template, and we can use one of the ones that exists, right? And then we can also create one from scratch. But if I were to go in and say a new invoice template, right, I have all the information. I would choose it in QuickBooks. Now, the reason that you want it in QuickBooks is because when the data flows from CX into QuickBooks, you want to make sure that the template information that you want to see here exists, right? So you want to customize it in QuickBooks first. When I click on Manage Templates here, right, that's where my template name comes into play. So I'm just going to say New CX Template. Now, if I have not chosen to add certain things to the screen or to print inside of Fourlane or inside of QuickBooks, that does not mean that I can't add it inside of CX. Okay, so you can have the templates, even though they're feeding to the same template, you can actually have even more options for templates because you can have what shows on the screen inside of QuickBooks, what prints from QuickBooks, and then you can have what shows on the screen inside of CX and what prints from CX. All right, so I created this new template. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and force the sync to run through. We're going to let that run on the other side, and then I'm going to head on in here into the CX product. So where we customize templates inside of here is actually from the transaction type itself. So when I go in, and by the way, the sync has to be completed. If I were already on the invoice screen, in order for my template to show up in here, my new CX template, if I were already on the screen and the sync was running, I would have to hit refresh in order for that drop down to show. Okay, so now I am inside a invoice screen. Right now it doesn't have a default template. The way that you choose a default template is by starring it, and that is based on the user. So if I come in here and I star it, now whenever I come to create a new template, the new CX template is going to show up. Okay. We also have in here the Manage Data Layout. So from here you can see I have Project Manager, Territory, Buyer Name, Revenues. These are custom fields that I have created. We have the option to put a different caption in there if we wanted to. So maybe PM. We can put it in a different order. So if I wanted to put it as number 1, number 2, whether it sits in the header or as a pop-up or non-visible if I don't want it to show. So as an example, let's say territory was not something I wanted to show on the screen. You can also begin the groups, meaning how many layers you want to have. So if you have a whole bunch of information that you track, you can layer it up. And then you can also take into account the size, right? So maybe a size 2 for PM, and I'll do a size 2 for revenues as well. You can come down below here also to choose what other things you want to show, right? PO number, FOB, like the standard fields inside of QuickBooks. So I can go ahead and do that, and let's just say begin date there. Now, once I save it, also you have to refresh it in order for it to pull up on the screen with the refreshed changes. So now you can see Project Managers at the end, and it has a wider screen. Revenues has a wider screen. Since they all have zeros in them, right, it kind of doesn't understand the order that you're supposed to be going in, so you would want to add in the layout order if you wanted to control it. And then you can also go to the following screens, right, along the way. Okay, so once I add it in here, then that's what shows on the header. If I wanted to customize down below, we have the column chooser down below, and this is where I get to decide what fields show in the columns, right? So item description, warehouse bin, quantity on hand, and quantity available. Those we have as fields inside of columns instead of having to hover and have the pop-up, right, which takes time. It's just visibly better to just have it as columns. The classes, alternative SKU is a custom field that I have on there as well. Okay, so that is how you customize templates and what you see on the screen inside of CX.